The sheriff's car was already parked in front of her driveway when I stepped outside that morning. I didn't say a word, just watched our former HOA president, the same woman who used to slap fines on my door before sunrise, stand there red-faced while the detective read her rights. She'd ruled our neighborhood like a little queen with a clipboard, and now she was about to lose it all. Yeah, that happened, but it didn't start there. I'm Mark Ellis, and I live in Cedar Ridge Park, just outside Austin. Nice place on paper, you know. Neat lawns, barbecue smoke in the evenings, retirees who wave from golf carts. But underneath the charm, our HOA was a kingdom run by one person, Melanie Carter. You've met a Melanie before. Mid-50s sharp haircut, permanent sunglasses, always just enforcing policy. She'd fine people for having the wrong shade of patio furniture or unapproved garden lighting. Once she actually told me per Section 9B, the smell of smoked meat counts as a nuisance odor. I wish I were joking. So I kept my head down until the day her teenage son Tyler smashed my pool pump with a golf club. It was a Saturday morning sun, barely up. I had coffee in one hand, about to check the filter before my brother came over. Then I heard this awful crunching sound. I walk around the corner, and there's this kid standing by my busted pump, gripping a club like he's Tiger Woods. He froze. I yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" He dropped the club and bolted out the gate. I knew him instantly. Tyler Carter, Melanie's little prodigy, the one who'd been seen kicking trash cans and tagging mailboxes, but somehow always inside all morning. I stood there staring at the wreck, wires hanging out, water-leaking motor split wide open. $3,000 down the drain. I was shaking with anger, not just at him, at her. So I marched 2 houses down and jabbed that doorbell till it buzzed. She opened the door with that same bored, fake smile. "What now, Mark?" she said like I was interrupting her day. I said, "Your son just destroyed my pool pump with a golf club." She didn't even blink. "That's not possible," she said. "Tyler's been inside all morning. I told her I saw him. I even offered to show her the damage." She rolled her eyes. "That pump's been rattling for months," she said. Maybe it finally broke. Then she actually threatened me. "Also, your equipment enclosure isn't HOA approved height. I could fine you right now if I wanted." And she slammed the door in my face. That's when I stopped trying to be polite. I pulled footage from my cameras. Crystal clear, her son hopping the fence, swinging that club, laughing like it was a game. I sent it to my buddy Jake, who's a lawyer. He called me back right away. "You've got her man," he said. "File a claim, and if she lies about it, that's HOA misconduct." So I did. Monday morning, I filed a small claims suit and a police report. I emailed everything to the entire HOA board, not just her. I wasn't hiding anymore. 2 days later, she called an emergency meeting to discuss defamation. I showed up with a USB drive. When she started her speech about false accusations, I plugged it in and hit play. Her son appeared on the projector mid-swing, golf club, high pump exploding into pieces. You could hear gasps. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Melanie froze, then muttered, "This could be edited." I said, "Cool. You can tell that to the judge on Friday." The treasurer, Donna Reeves, just stared at her clipboard, and that's when I realized nobody was buying Melanie's act anymore. Word spread fast. The Jenkins mentioned how their lawn statues disappeared last year. The Wangs said they'd caught Tyler throwing cans in their pond. It was like everyone suddenly woke up. Friday court day. Small claims. Nothing fancy. The judge looked tired. Melanie showed up in beige, dragging Tyler in like a prop. I handed over the footage, the repair invoice, and the report. She tried to argue the pump was already failing. The judge didn't even let her finish. He hopped a fence, ma'am. That's intentional damage. You have 30 days to pay full replacement and court fees. Gavel. Done. But Melanie wasn't built to take a loss. A week later, people started finding fake violation notices taped to their doors. Threatening fines, warning about pool zoning, no signatures, no letterhead. Guess who I caught on camera late at night with tape and envelopes? Yep. Melanie, sunglasses and hoodie, sneaking around like she was in a spy movie. The crazy part. She wasn't even president anymore. Donna and the rest of the board had just voted her out after discovering she'd been reimbursing herself hundreds every month for office supplies and communication stipends no one approved. She refused to accept it. She hijacked the HOA website, posting fake emergency rules, banning lights and pool repairs. Still signing emails as president. That's when I stopped playing defense. I printed everything. The fake notices, the screenshots, the timestamps of her taping letters on my door, and I drove to the sheriff's office. The detective who took my statement said, "You know, this is impersonation of authority, right?" I said, "I do now." A week later, patrol cars pulled up to her house. The detective told me later they found piles of printed notices, drafts for more, even a spreadsheet labeling certain neighbors as non-compliant with planned fine amounts next to each name. She wasn't enforcing rules anymore. She was targeting people she didn't like. 3 weeks after that, I saw her again, in court. She looked small for once, sitting behind her lawyer. The prosecutor laid it out impersonating an HOA official, unauthorized use of records, attempted fraud. They offered her a deal. Plead guilty. No jail, but she'd be barred from holding any HOA position or neighborhood authority role for at least 15 years. She took it. No arguments, no speeches, just silence. Watching her sign those papers felt like pulling out a thorn that had been stuck under my skin for years. On my way out, she looked at me for maybe half a second. No fire left, just exhaustion. That's when it hit me. She never had real power. We just let her act like she did. The clipboard, the fines, the per section 9B speeches. It only worked because nobody challenged it. The second she faced someone who wasn't scared, it all fell apart. So yeah, my pool pumps fixed the neighborhood's quieter, and I finally learned something. Sometimes the loudest people are the weakest. You just have to call their bluff. What do you think, though? Was I right to take her to court, or should I have just let it go? Have you ever dealt with someone like that? Someone who hid behind a title to push people around? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear how you handled it, because I'm telling you, proof beats power every single time.